So, Zombie Angels. Just a quick note, this is part 2 of Chronicles 2. Just a quick note on the Chronicles Bind-Up series. There's one more of these that's freely available for purchase in retail and online shopping, so far as I can find, and that's Chronicles 3, which is the next one. Chronicles 4, there seems to have been some kind of issue with publication, because originally, from what I can make out online, it was due for publication in December 2017. It's now due in December 2020. And I don't want to wait until December 2020 to continue this series for you guys. So after I do both parts of Chronicles 3, I may start ordering the books individually, the rest of the series individually, and reviewing them singularly for you. Obviously I do that anyway. This book's been divided into 2 videos, but I may start waving about the actual individual books for you guys in the videos. So just to let you know that that book may be changing. Now, Angels, obviously spoilers for the first 3 books in the series. If you haven't read them already, go ahead, read them, or watch my videos on them, or continue ahead with this video anyway, but just be aware that there may be major spoilers for the first 3 books in the series. If you're watching this video, I will assume that you've either read the first 3 books in the series, or you're okay with spoilers. So Angels picks up where City left off. And at the end of City, if you recall, B. Smith was following these signs, spray painted signs, which were Zeds with arrows, and she followed it right into County Hall. And she was looking out the window, looking over the city, when she heard a voice say, "Hello, B. Smith, I've been expecting you," or "Becky Smith, I've been expecting you." And she turned round, and that was where the book ended, on that cliffhanger. Now that voice, it's revealed at the beginning of Angels, belongs to a fellow named Dr. Oystein, and he is a revitalised, a Zom-head, as we've known him up to this point. And he introduces B to this organisation that he's built, and he calls revitalised Zom-heads, he calls them angels, and he believes that there's some kind of battle coming, some kind of war. It's not made at all clear until the very end of the book. Of course, I won't spoil the end of the book for you if you haven't read it already. It's not made entirely clear, but he believes there's some kind of battle, some kind of war. And we see some new characters are introduced. The theme of racism is explored once again, where there is a Muslim girl who's a member of the Angels, and there's immediate tension between her and B, primarily due to B's inherited racism from her father. And B's ignorance towards Arabs is immediately explored. It's immediately discussed. There's a conversation between B and this Muslim girl who explains to B that not all Arabs are Muslim. Yes, I am a Muslim, but not all Arabs are Muslim. You get Arab Christians, Arab Jews, there's different types of Arab, and Arab and Muslim are not the same thing, and that's immediately explored, immediately. And there's other kinds of commentary. There's commentary on the vaccination debate, which I think is done quite tastefully, because normally whenever somebody wants to make a comment or a statement on the vaccination debate, it's quite crude. It's quite blunt and to the point, whereas I think Darren Shan here tries to straddle both sides and tries to sort of play both sides of the debate and make a comment about both of them. And he obviously discusses because obviously, minor spoiler here, there was a vaccination that was developed for this zombie virus, or that would help people when they if they were bitten and infected. And there were some side effects, some really bad side effects that were possible. So he sort of plays both sides off against each other and explores both angles. And he doesn't really offer any sort of bias or prejudice towards the other side. I think that was very tastefully done. So that's discovered. And then towards the end of the book, the concept of God and the devil and good and evil comes into play. And we end up discovering more or less what Mr. Dowling is, and more about Dr. Oystein at the end of the book. Of course, I won't spoil anything, but this concept of religion and faith and spirituality, of course, it was bound to come up in a zombie apocalypse. If you're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, you're bound to start asking questions about faith. Is there a God? Does he care for us? Did he want this to happen? Those sort of questions are bound to come up, and Darren Shan has started to explore them now. We've also started to see some more character development. For instance, Rage makes another appearance. You may remember Rage from Zombie Underground, where he killed Dr. Cerberus, ran off and told the others, "Don't follow me if you know what's good for you." He makes another appearance. He becomes one of the Angels, and of course there's trials and stuff that Dr. Oystein wants the Angels to go through before he can decide what what to do with them, what tasks to assign them. Rage bests be in one respect, and she ends up feeling, first from originally wanting to kill him for what he did in the underground bunker, she ends up developing some kind of begrudging respect for him. So we're starting to see some developments of the relationships that she had. We see a little bit of tension. Mr. Burke returns as well, the geography teacher from the first book, and he was also in the second book. The last we saw him, he was working with the army in the underground bunker. He makes another appearance. We start to see a little bit of tension between him and B. Smith because of some of the decisions that Mr. Burke has made since the events of the second book. Again, no spoilers, but we're starting to see some more development of some relationships now. We're starting to see a little bit more character development, which is, of course, the four books in, we should be seeing that by now. So starting to see a bit more complexity to these characters, particularly B, where again we see her brash side, her blunt side that we're used to, her side which is only looking out for self, but she seems to be caring a bit more now about who's around her and the people around her. In fact, at one point she strongly considers walking away from the angels, but while one half of her thinks that would be selfish because she doesn't want to abandon the people she's met and the people she knows, the other half is being selfish because she knows if she walks away she will have no one to look after her. So we're starting to see a bit more complexity now. So go ahead and read that. Pick it up as book 4 of the Zombie series. That's Zombie Angels. Again, Darren Shan was one of my favourite authors as a young adult and as a teen. I would spend hours in a school library at school on my lunch break and on my breaks reading Darren Shan, and at home reading Darren Shan, and I would discuss Darren Shan with my friends and we would bounce ideas off of each other, what's going to happen next in the next book in the series and that kind of thing. He was one of my favourites, one of my absolute favourites. I read his Darren Shan saga when I was a child, strongly considering when I finished the Chronicle the Zombie series, I'm strongly considering going back and reviewing that because it was a staple. It was one of the books that got me into books as a child. So go ahead and read that. That was Zombie Angels. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.